Hello, everybody. So it's a special episode today. We are trying something new with a live format for Brick City Radio. I'm gonna go over some rules and some things that are different from a normal live stream. So the rules that are going to be going on are, if you guys want to chat, you're more than welcome to chat. I have no problems with you guys chatting with each other and making comments and things like that. We're not going to be answering any questions until the end of the podcast. So just sit back and relax. Don't worry. I will be keeping an eye on chat. But it is a podcast format, sort of like what everybody else does on their podcasts, where you're here to watch and see us podcasting. Obviously, like I said, we'll take questions at the end, but not during. So please respect that, and we're just going to have some fun. So I'm going to bring in someone very special. Whenever they are ready to join us, they can go ahead and come on in and say hello.
Hey.
Hi. How are you?
Do you want the honest answer or
Of course
the
I
polite
do.
answer? I'm okay.
No.
Nervous,
I do. I would want
okay.
the honest answer.
Yeah, no, I'm nervous. I'm very nervous. I don't do cameras. I don't do this. You know that. So yeah, I'm just trying to ignore
It's okay.
this thing staring at me right here. And yeah, enjoy.
Well, you look
fantastic.
fantastic. You look fantastic. It is gonna be some fun. We're just gonna chat like we normally do.
Yeah, I'm just pretending there's no one else here. It's been a long week. This is day 6 for me working. I'm working 6 days a week at the moment, just having the Saturday off at the moment. So yeah, today was
I'm surprised that they make you go in on a Sunday.
Well, I can choose which day I work, but after working a full week, Monday to Friday, which I have to work, for me, I can't bear to go in another day after that. So I've been taking the Saturday off and working the Sunday. So
I gotcha.
Yeah, it's been a long week, but yeah.
But I'm so glad that we decided to say hello to the world and show everybody what we've got. We have so much we have so much to offer people, though. It really is an exciting day. We've been talking about it for, I don't know what, has it been almost 2 years already?
Well, yeah, I mean, talking about it, definitely. I remember you telling me about, the podcast a long time ago, and then, we were chatting about it, and we were chatting with Jagan about it.
But I think it's been almost 2 years though since we've been recording, though. I think this will, at the end of the year, will be.
Well, we've had our year already.
Yeah.
So
I think December.
January? Maybe
January? December. I think last December was our first year with Santa. But it's fun. So yeah, we're here. We're out in the open. You want to chat a little bit about what our goals for this upcoming year is going to be about? How about Brick World Chicago? What did you think all about Brick World Chicago? What did you have a lot of fun?
Yeah, I did. I mean, again, nervous wreck at the start of that as well. But it was amazing, and not only from the the builds and everything point of view, but it was the people, and everyone says that, and it sounds a bit cliche because people are always saying that, but
yeah,
it is the truth, and I knew that would be the case. So,
but it was really, really nice to see everybody and to see all those cool builds and just everything. And by the way, guys, so normally we have an intro going. But today I just figured that we were gonna just start off, since this was our first episode live, and we're gonna just chat and have a little chat
Oh,
today.
okay. We're not doing the intro.
Yeah.
That's
No.
fabulous. That's why I was being brief, because I was like, well, if we're going to talk about this in a podcast, then I'm not going to say too much, because
No. I'm
going to have to say it all again after the intro.
No, I was just letting us go today. Because normally we have our nice introduction and everything, but I figured that we just roll along today, and when we go live again tomorrow. By the way, guys, we will be live again tomorrow with Squidos. Squidos is going to be joining us. So that will be a more like standard format podcast. So we'll do our intro and everything. We just wanted to come and chat with you guys today, have a little chat with ourselves, and see what this was going to do, how this was going to work, and everything. So it seems to be working great, which is amazing. But
this is our test run.
Our test run, exactly.
You guys, who, if there's anyone there, I'm not looking because I could barely get in front of the camera, let alone look at who's there. But if any of our listeners or now watchers are there, then this is, you're all guinea pigs today. So good luck with that. So now I can talk a bit more about Brickworld, because I was being brief thinking that we were doing
no.
I would like to say a huge thank you to everybody who was there, because as I stated to everybody, it was a huge challenge to me. I am extremely socially awkward. I find big groups of people really difficult. I know I'm not alone, and I know many people in the community are the same here. And there was lots of other people there who I was incredibly proud of. I won't name names, but you know who you are, that found it difficult, and were my little social support network there, because it was really difficult for me, and it took me a couple of days. We got there on Thursday evening, and it took me a couple of hours to come out my room, and then I had to go and hide in the bar, and Scotty went off and said hi to everyone, and they're like, where's Becca? And he's like, she's hiding in the bar.
Hey, social lubrication is okay. Social lubrication is good sometimes.
And but I mean, one of the massive highlights for me was that we got to meet properly.
I was so excited. It was so amazing. Time. I was also very, very nervous. I find IRL people to be scary as well. It's one of those things that we know the people we're going to meet, like at least the majority of them. Like I knew them. I have been chatting with people. We had been interacting with a lot of these people now almost 3 years for me. So when I met everybody, I was like, oh, okay, well, these people are like they are in person, are on screen, and sometimes you do wonder, you're like, are these people just faking it? Are they real? Are we actually as we seem? And I know a lot of people have that when they see us on stream. They're like, do they actually act like this? Is this who I'm going to be meeting? For me personally, I am very much like I am online. I am just a wreck of a person in so many ways. I'm fun, but I definitely don't have my shit together. Definitely not. But no, it was an experience. I was so happy to meet you. So happy to meet Scotty. Getting to meet Garrett was amazing. For you guys out there that don't know, that's also Flobbit. But he mostly goes by Garrett on everywhere else but on Twitch. It was one of those things where I was not nervous about meeting, but more nervous that people wouldn't like me in person, because I'm a little odd. I'm a little bit weird.
Perfect. You're perfect. One of the things I love about your stream right from day one where we met in what was the middle of the night for me,
Yeah, middle of the night.
being
Well, it was late at
insomnia
night for me too.
person
So
at the time. Was that I really felt like you were authentically yourself, and those are the streams that I really gravitate towards, and enjoy the most, is people that are authentically them. And I loved that about your stream, and I absolutely, you are just exactly as you are, except for 100 million times better in person, of course.
and you give the best
And
hugs, by the way.
I am a hugaholic. Hold my hands up. Hi, my name is Rebecca, and I am a hugaholic. That was my nickname in college, hugaholic. I do love a hug, and yeah, it was lovely to just throw my arms around you and squeeze you as much as possible all all weekend long.
Yeah, it
And
was
I really
great.
loved the time that we spent together. I'm glad we got to spend so much of that weekend alongside each other and record the episode, of course, as well.
That was
That
that
we
was
did
that
while
was
we're there.
probably one of the coolest things that from people that I talked to after the event was over. I had some people that came up to me that had listened to the episode and told us that was probably one of the coolest episodes we did, was to actually get just people from an event to come and chat with us. I've stayed in contact with some of the people that we talked to from the event, which was really cool. Because I didn't expect that. I was like, no way. Like, are you sure you're actually interested in talking to me afterwards? That was what was going through my head.
It was great. We had such a wide variety uh, from people who had no social media presence at all, which, by the way, I loved, because that's me, as much as possible anyway. And through to people that and all different ages, and
Yeah.
from all over the world. It was really good. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I was surprised at some of the people that were doing some of the big builds there, that they didn't have any social media presence. It kind of blew my mind. I was like, wait a second, you're spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on these builds, and you go to these conventions, but you don't have any social media presence. How does that
Yeah.
work? And you wonder, because you're like, oh, wait a second, how are you showing these things off to people that can't make these events? And every time I'm told is, oh, well, there are so many people taking pictures and showing these off on YouTube and things like that, and telling people who I am, that I don't have to worry about it. They're doing all the work for me. It's like
Uh,
they take all the work out.
yeah, and I said to Scotty the other day, oh, we're probably going to talk about Brick World, but I know that seems like such a long time ago, but he's saying, oh, he still sees it on Instagram nearly every day, still new pictures from the event, and things like that. So even though it feels like a long way away now, people are still sharing and still talking
Yeah,
about it. And
exactly.
for that first week or so, especially, there was, it was almost impossible not to see it. So I can understand that, people who perhaps like me, who have less of a social media presence, don't really need to worry about that, because so many people shared everything that they saw.
Exactly. And that is the nicest thing about um events like that, is you get to meet everybody, but then you also get to um really see what people like, because you start seeing, oh, this person over here is really big into the airplanes. Scotty. um or the fantasy stuff, me.
Yeah.
And you'll see going through how everybody is looking at everything, or architecture. It was just a fantastic time. I really wish that there were more events that more people could go to if cost was more what's the word, prohibitive, or is that the right word? I think so. Yeah, cost prohibitive.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it's just so hard when events like this costs lots of money to be able to go to. It'd be nice if, you know, the cost of the world would go down a little bit. That'd be great. We could go to more
Yeah,
events. Because
yeah,
there was an event.
and
Go ahead.
okay. No, I was just going to say, on the lines of that, I am very aware that it's a huge privilege to be able to go to an event like that, and I may not be able to travel for the rest of the year to, unfortunately, due to spending that that money there, and I want to make sure that is, I think that it. I mean, I don't know because I feel like I can't talk because I was there, but I think for people,
No, it's understandable.
I wasn't there the previous year, and I want to make sure that people don't think it's sort of a flippant remark. Oh yeah, Brick World. Well, it's a
It
huge
is.
privilege
It
to go
is.
to things like
It
that,
is.
and not
And
everybody can for many different reasons. And that was why we did our podcast, and we said that when we did the podcast, we wanted to try and capture some of the atmosphere from the place so that people
yes, exactly.
could kind of feel the joy and the excitement and the interest of the place. So I hope that came across to some people that weren't able to join us this year.
Yeah, I'm sure it did. You know, I think as a Lego community, and I've talked about this with some people before. I find that it is super important for people that can't afford to build, can't afford to go to these events, that they have places to go to be able to enjoy um the process and to enjoy what we are seeing. And I think that's one of the reasons I got into Twitch and social media to begin with, was so that people that can afford to go can actually um, witness the event and still live through what we're seeing. Because, like you said, there are so many people that just can't go.
Yeah, yeah,
And
for
like you
many
said,
different reasons.
that was definitely my travel budget for the year.
Yeah.
That was a big bang. And I don't mind. Like, that's okay. It is
Yeah.
it was well worth it. But to let people know as well, it is something that I give up a lot of things to provide content, and I also
Yeah.
give up a lot of things to be able to go do those kind of events. You
Yeah.
know, you people do ask me all the time. They're like, "So, what kind of stuff do you give up to kind of balance everything?" And I tell them a lot of things. A lot of things I give up. You know, going out for extra meals. Like, I don't do a
Yeah.
lot of out of the house eating. It's mostly cooking at home. Um,
Yeah.
I
Same.
don't I barely go to the movies anymore.
Same.
There's right. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that we give up to be able to do other things. And I don't mind as long as people are enjoying what I'm offering and what we're offering to people, you know?
Yeah.
It's just how it goes. Um, you know.
Yeah, and I mean that's the same with everything. And you know, I'm not gonna, we won't start a conversation about how boring. That's very boring talking about the cost of living. We don't need to talk about that. But yeah, it's everyone's. Everyone is feeling the pinch right now. So yeah, I felt super privileged and very honored to be able to make it there. And I have to say that there was a time shortly before where some financial things came up for myself and Scotty, that meant that we thought we weren't going to be able to go. And we had, I just want to give a big shout out to our very good friends, Testing Time and Crochet, who actually went out of their way to change their plans to help us get there together to make that possible. And I was overwhelmed with that gesture and incredibly grateful, because at one point we thought we weren't going to be able to make it. So yeah, I just want to give a little shout out to those special people for us.
Yeah, no.
Who made that possible.
I'm so glad that everything worked out in the end and we were able to go.
I know. And I sort of said, oh, we won't be going. I won't be going next year. I'm 40 next year. I want to, maybe go to Cali, to California, and for my birthday.
Go to Disney, maybe?
Yeah, well, for my 30th, I went to Florida. And so I thought, I always had it in my mind that for my 40th, I would love to go to California, Disney, go to Galaxy's Edge, which wasn't around when I was there last 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And make a lightsaber. My own lightsaber, purple, of course, for my birthday.
I could see the purple.
I mean, that's the dream.
You'll rock the purple.
I'm aware financially that probably isn't going to happen. But maybe just traveling to California and meeting up with some of the wonderful people from the community on that side of the world. If that would be possible, then I would be more than happy with that.
I do have to read one comment for you because it's fantastic. You're gonna love it. I just have to. So Panfred Nuda says yes, come to Disneyland. So that is definitely an invitation right there.
Well, we have had conversations, me and the wonderful Fredo. Shout out to Panfred Nuda.
Oh, good.
One of the wonderful streamers for our Tricks community, who has said that he would very happily be my Disney guide. He practically lives there, so why not?
What a wonderful guide, right?
Stuff, so yes, absolutely, if we can make it happen. But I said, yeah, probably won't be able to go to Brick World next year. Well, straight away, I'm like, well, I have to go to Brick World next year.
You were like, never mind.
I'm like, never mind. If I can only make it for a few days, I'll fly. Because this time I flew to Canada, met up with Scotty, and we drove over with Testing Time and Crochet, and this time I just thought, even if I just have to fly straight to Chicago, even if it's just for a few days, I'll make it happen. So that kind of gives you an idea of, how incredible of experience it was, because it's even changed my plans for next year already. So
yeah,
I decided was wonderful.
I decided to spend a couple extra days in Chicago next year. The rush that I had this year getting there on the day the convention started and then leaving the day the convention ended was probably the worst idea I have ever had. It was so bad. It was so bad. I was so tired that Wednesday. Garrett picked me up at the airport. I had been carrying a modular through 2 airports, through security, and it was just it was a nightmare. I was so tired. I was like, I really don't even want to go to the floor, but we have no choice. We have to go get set up. So we didn't. Yeah. I don't think we even got to the Airbnb until probably midnight that night. It was. I was so tired. I was like, wake up. And then
yeah. I had traveled.
I can't believe what you did. I can't believe what you did.
I traveled from England to Toronto, or Tirana, as I've been told I must pronounce it. The day before, so I flew out my time Wednesday morning, which was technically, if we're looking at the Chicago time zone, it was around about 11 p.m. Tuesday evening. I flew out to Toronto, and then I met up with Scotty, and I was, with Scotty less than 12 hours when we were picked up by the wonderful Testing Time and Crochet, and then obviously our journey and then into Chicago. And it was it was a couple of days traveling, so I totally get it. 100% worth it. And again, massively privileged to be able to do that. I am very aware that is a huge privilege, not complaining at all, but I was tired. It probably helped because for me, I am just like a toddler, so when I get past a certain point of tiredness, like the exhaustion takes over and I become a bit hyperactive.
Yep.
So
and that's,
so maybe that helped.
and that's one of the things where you're very much like me. So when I get to the point of very, very tired, let's say like 5 a.m. ish for me, usually I have this dip in energy, but then 5 a.m. I have another peak, and I'm like, oh, well, I guess I'm not going to bed because I now don't have the energy to sleep.
I call that my sleepy window. If I miss my sleepy window, that's it.
Exactly,
I know I'm going to be awake for a while. Now, that's what's really strange is, obviously, as you know, and as I've talked about many, many times on this podcast, when I joined the community, the Twix community, when I joined and we met, I had chronic insomnia. I had to go through all those, sleep tests where they hook you up to 10,000 wires and and then I had to go through really intense sleep therapy and all of that. It was bad. I was barely sleeping at all, and now I have seemingly flipped everything way. I am literally an 80-year-old lady at heart. I barely make it to 8 o'clock most evenings. If I'm still awake at 9, it's amazing.
It's an amazing thing.
Sleep and sleep and sleep and sleep now. And for any shout out to my insomniac Club Insomnia friends.
Hey, I'm still there. I haven't left.
I know.
I haven't left. My bedtime's still like 4 a.m.
I cannot tell you how weird it is. I come into work every day and go, I slept so well. I can't. And then like they've kind of forgotten about the 4.5 years of the fact that I was coming in and said, yes, I had 2 hours sleep. Yes, I had 3 hours sleep. Oh, I had a really, really good night last night. I got 5 hours. Oh my God, that's amazing. Now
and they kind of just give you the cocked head. They're like,
now they're like, yeah, so you slept, so what? And I'm like, yeah, but you don't understand. It's still an absolute miracle to me now that I can do it. It's really, really strange. And I think a change, I think all the therapy and everything I went through and medicine and
it's amazing what therapy can really do.
But also obviously a change in my personal circumstances definitely has got to have something to do with it. And there's a certain gentleman who likes to take full responsibility for the fact
that he's making that point now.
Not surprising. Which, it has to after being an insomniac for 20 years, there has to be something.
Oh, absolutely.
So and I really feel for people who still can't sleep. But for anyone who used to be in that or is in that, if you ever do, it's gonna like blow your mind. It's so weird. You wake up and you look at the time and you're like, what? Did I just sleep 7 hours? That's insane.
Yeah. So with a major Lego convention under your belt like Brickworld Chicago, had you been to any other Lego conventions before?
Yeah, I'd been to a few. I went to one really big one in London Ooh, probably a good 10 years ago.
Okay.
And it was great. And it was, very similar to Britwell Chicago.
Yeah.
Maybe half the size, like, of the floor, but it's still which is still a huge area because, as you know, it's like a hangar. It's huge in that.
Oh, it is a
area.
big hangar bay.
And for anyone who knows the Excel Centre in London, it's a very similar setup. It's there's lots of hotels and there's a huge purpose built a place where anybody who knows the Star Wars celebration that was held at the Excel Centre. It's huge rooms and I went to one there and it was my first one and it was amazing. And wonderful. And I was introduced to conventions at around my first convention was Collectomania in Milton Keynes, which would have been about 2013, I want to say. Maybe. And that was amazing. That was my first ever type bike convention. And so I kind of had been to conventions and things before, so I kind of knew what to expect. But I mean, this just blew my mind. I couldn't believe the creativity, and it was wonderful to see all different ages. And then I've been to a couple of like much smaller ones as well. Before that, again, one in Brighton, one in London. Shout out to the south coast of England.
Can you believe that that I've been building Lego for, I don't know, 25 years, and I have never been to a Lego convention before. Like never.
I can't believe it because it's like a really niche thing.
But I love it though.
Conventions themselves as a whole are really individual. And once I went to Collectomania, then I started on the Comic Cons and and I went to sort of much more like individual ones. Like I went to like Star Trek conventions. All my friends out there.
I've been to a Trek convention. I have been to that. I've been to a Star Wars convention, but I've never been to a Lego convention. I think it was more to do with. It blew my mind. I was like, oh, I found my people. The people have come out of the desert and we are building Lego.
And I was so proud of you for not just attending but displaying as well. Like you said, you carried your mock, your modular mock, carried it.
I carried
home.
I did
on the plane through the airports to the convention,
and I was lucky. I only lost one piece. Just one.
I mean, that's amazing. What did it feel like displaying your work? Was it nerve-wracking or did you enjoy it? What was your experience?
So I enjoyed it. It was very nerve-wracking though. I was nervous because when I walked around the convention hall and saw so many different things that were there, I was like, man, my little tiny build is just like this compared to some of these big giant things. But when I was on the floor and sitting out there and people were coming up and saying that they liked the build and everything, that made me feel really nice. I was like, oh, okay. So people actually do like what I'm showing and things like that. I think what really helped was that Garrett was also displaying this year.
Yeah.
That kind of gave me the nudge to get out the door and do it, because I hadn't thought about it. I had thought about just attending and just going and not displaying. And then Garrett was like, oh, well, do you want to display? Do you want to get a table and display and kind of just, do that kind of thing? And I was like, okay, sure. We can work with that. So the wonderful It's Zur, a big shout out to It's Zur. We
Hi,
spent
Zur.
probably 30 hours coming up with that design that we came up with. And then hopefully next year I'll have some more designs that are more of my own versus like a modification of what Lego developed. It will be more of my own stuff this coming year, hopefully. We'll see how things go down the line. But I was very nervous. I was very nervous because my worst fear is people to see stuff and be like, oh, I don't like it. Like saying something like that to my face would have just like plummeted me down to the ground. Yeah, I just would have been like, okay, like you don't like this, that's okay.
I mean,
I'm
I
okay.
suppose you have to be open to opinion, and everybody's
Of course.
entitled to their
Oh,
opinion.
absolutely.
But with people that were there and the people that we met, and I am not somebody who just talks to people easily. I may come across that way, but I'm really not. If I do, I'm terrified inside. I'm just being honest. You know, there's no hiding. There's no hiding it really, because I really was terrified. But just people I've never met, just you're looking at the same thing, and you just end up talking to each other because you have this common interest.
Yeah.
And I really don't think that anybody would have said, oh, I don't like that, you know.
Oh, probably not.
Because
Probably not.
it's still Lego at the end of the day. But I was
Yeah.
super proud of you, and I was really excited that the little mini me was hiding in your mock as well.
It was awesome. I loved it. Oh, and you know, and
yeah.
it's interesting to see because at the event you'll see similar ideas, but they're still different from each other. And that's the coolest thing is
Yeah.
you're like, oh, okay, this person built this castle. Well, this person built this castle. They're both castles, but they're different. It's so much fun.
There was absolutely nothing there that was even vaguely similar, really, because everybody's take on something is completely different.
Exactly.
And you know what I found really interesting is, like you said, oh, you know, you were worried that your mock was going to be small. Well, there was things this big,
which was so cool. It was so cool that people were doing really small builds. That was so cool.
Which is great because look, I live in one room. I have no space, excuse me, to even display what I have, let alone anything else. So, you know, it is difficult to space wise. So it was great. I thought it was wonderful that people were building really you know, much smaller things and a variety of things, everything from, you know, tiny little like miniature builds, animals, mosaics. There was a Sabrina Carpenter mosaic there. I'm obsessed with Sabrina Carpenter at the moment. This summer is my summer soundtrack is Sabrina this year.
Hey, don't you love having a soundtrack for the different seasons?
Yes, yeah, I do. And this year is 100% Sabrina Carpenter for me. And it was just, yeah, it just blew my mind. I personally haven't had perhaps given myself the opportunity, but definitely not had an opportunity with a lot of bricks to mock, to play, to you know, I don't think I've been in a space where I've allowed myself to be creative. And we've had this conversation before.
I could see you doing it though. When you have the space to do it, I think you're gonna come up with some fantastic things.
I kind of know someone who's got a lot of Lego, so
bins and bins and bins full, I'm told.
Yeah, and that's just at his home.
Yeah.
He has other places where there are just like spare Lego.
He has secret secret hidey holes everywhere. He has a secret hidey holes.
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to the opportunity to giving myself the space to be creative, and allowing myself to just build with no judgment on myself, because I'm very self-critical. So
Yeah.
I've worked really hard on that over the years to, realize that it doesn't have to be perfect first time at least.
Yeah.
And so yeah, and you have been an instrumental piece of my growth in that area. I feel like I'm repeating myself on these podcasts,
Oh
because I
no, it's
always
okay.
say your creativity blows my mind. I love watching your streams where even if you're doing just building a set, you'll go, well, I'm not sure about this. I actually I'd like to do it like this, and you just change things, and
Oh yeah, I do it
and then
all
you're
the
like, oh,
time.
that gives me an idea for this, and then actually that gives me a photography idea for that, and your mind just goes spaces creativity wise, that really allowed me to realize that if I just let myself explore those spaces in my mind and allow myself not to have to be perfect first time, I'm really looking forward to doing that. And I'm not saying that I'm going to be displaying next year, but I'm saying,
She so could though. She so could
the
do it.
creativity that I saw, the difference in builds, anything from these tiny little micro builds up to these absolutely enormous
Yeah, some of those
landscapes
micro builds really did
were
spark some
really,
imagination.
were really phenomenal to see, and absolutely, it was just such a wonderful time. It really was, and I am very, very much looking forward to experiencing it again, hopefully next year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that it was a wonderful experience. The people that we met,
Yeah.
The coolest thing that I found about it was how willing people were to come and talk to us, because the people that I approached and that I wanted to talk to actually were interested. They were like, yeah, sure, you
Yeah.
seem like a cool person. We'd love to come talk with you, which was just amazing. So big shout out to all those people that came out and talked to us. I'd like to connect with some more of them. We've got some cool stuff that's going to be coming later on this year, guys, with some people from Brickworld Chicago that have decided to come and chat with us. They have reached out to us and said that they were interested in coming on the podcast. We're gonna have that all coming out. Hopefully, we're gonna be, so some of those people were looking at getting the designer for the office to come on. The head of the Bricklink designer program, the lead of the program, has said that he was interested in coming and chatting with us. Big shout out to Alex. He is currently on paternity leave, so we're just waiting for him. We're waiting for him to come back and get with us.
Busy.
He's a little busy, which is understandable. He has not only has he a big job, but he has a kid coming on the way, so that's a big thing too.
Absolutely.
So I think we could open the floor up to some questions for a few minutes.
Absolutely. And I just want to make it really clear that when we started this podcast, we said we want to talk to everybody. You don't have to be a streamer. You don't have to be, if you're just part of the community, maybe you have a particular interest in something. Perhaps you have a huge collection of,
please reach out to
something
us.
Vintage. Reach out to us, because we would love to have you on and talk to you. And if you haven't maybe listened to our podcast before, we have guests on. And we sometimes we club together, and there's sort of 3 or 4 of us having a little chat together. So yeah, if you're interested, then please do reach out. We would absolutely love to.
I'm gonna throw in some links for you guys, so that that you guys can find all of us. So this is our link directly to our webpage for our audio version of the podcast. We are going to have our videos. They're going to be live on Twitch and over on YouTube for after the event. So if you guys want to watch over there as well, It's
Oh,
there.
yeah.
If you want to email
Apparently
us,
so.
it's Brick City Radio Podcast at gmail.com. If you guys want to email us there, if you guys are interested in being on the podcast, we would love to have you, and we can talk about scheduling you in for whatever kind of conversation you want to have about Lego. If it's a subject that we've done before, we don't mind repeating subjects because it's different with everybody and different topics. We don't mind doing multiple episodes. We do that with Star Wars. We're going to be doing that with Jurassic Park because there was just too much. There was too much to cover. We could have just kept going
all night long, and it was late for me, so I was like, "Oh boy."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and reach out to us. Like on our Brick City Radio
Instagram or here on Twitch. Just whisper us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I on Twitch. I am Becca Bubbles 85. I am Becca Bubbles 85 on Instagram as well. There is nothing on my Instagram account, but you can message me. And Puck is Shipwreck Bricks. Which you can find on Instagram.
And then if you're following on Discord, you can message me on Discord as well. Critical Price says, not a question, but he says, Becca Bubbles, you're doing fantastic, is what Critical says.
Shout out to all my nervous people out there.
So we're going to open the floor up to some questions. If you got some questions for us, we're going to do a shout out here for both Mr. Harral and Critical Price. I don't know if Macabuilds was in the house earlier too, and he was waving and saying hello.
I didn't know. I didn't get the chance to send him. This was all very sort of kind of last minute and secretive. I was like, don't tell anyone. Absolutely don't tell anyone. This is just like a test. Let's see if I can actually do this. Nearly couldn't. Was a bit late. Had some issues.
Hey, it's okay. Aaron Preston says we found you.
Uh-oh.
And Mr. Harral is apparently hanging from ceilings so he doesn't fall into holes on the floor. Is what's going on.
Well, that sounds a little bit scary, but shout out to my wonderful friend Erin, who again I met in person at Brickworld, and oh my god, she is the most wonderful human being, and super proud of her as well because very similar in the social side of things.
Scotty says, I told all the cool peeps and G Monkey. Ha 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 ha. Laugh emote.
Hey, lay off my pet monkey. He's my monkey. He's my pet monkey now. I love G Monkey. A wonderful human being.
So to let Becca Bubbles know, Becca, there is you can click the chat button now if you want.
I could, but I don't want to.
Becca's like, nope, not there yet. No, it's okay. I'll read questions for you. I can do that. But everybody is saying that you are doing a fantastic job. Bender Build says you are doing fantastic. I think that I am so very proud of you. You have come a long way. We talked and we figured, okay, well, we'll start just voice only, which we did. And then we went to having video on the podcast, which helped. And then now here we are almost 2 years in, where we're finally going live for the world to see your wonderful, beautiful, smiling face.
Yeah, don't talk about that too much. That I really don't want to vomit on stream.
Critical Price says Skittles or M&Ms. And Mr. Harral says, I've never doubted she'd do an amazing job. She's a natural.
Thanks, Santa. It's just your regular favorite elf here trying to human. She's very difficult when you're an elf. It's very difficult to adult and human when you're an elf at heart.
Yeah. RC Spaceport says, Becca, what was your first Lego set and what's your favorite set you have built so far? And then, like I said, Skittles or M&Ms from Critical Price.
Skittles or M&Ms. Well, yeah, I'm not sure about that one because M&Ms are kind of chocolate and Skittles are fruity. Don't get me wrong, I love both of them, especially peanut M&Ms.
What if you mix the two
Really good.
together? I wonder what that would be like.
Okay, I haven't, but now I must.
she's
Check
like
out
me. She's like
tomorrow's.
me.
Check out tomorrow's. I'll check that out. So my first Lego set from memory was a tiny little city. Um, what's it called?
The
Ambulance.
ambulance, right?
Yeah, it was all that like blocky, the classic like door with the hinge at the back. It had one little person who had the little briefcase, which was his little medical, thing. And I did remember, I did look up the set number. I can't remember it right now, but that was my very first one that I can remember. I didn't have a lot of Lego as a child. We weren't an affluent family, so everything I had was gifted. My second set for sure was a pirate one, which was one of the ones that was little base, like about that big, that was printed. So you had the blue.
Oh, I know which one you're
and
talking
then
about. Yeah.
yeah, and it had like a palm tree in a little
So you
place
never
where you
told me about the
hid like
pirate
a
one.
Cheris says, well, where did you think I love my pirates from? Was my love for pirates started very young, way before Johnny Depp.
I'm sure. I'm
So
sure
yeah,
Johnny Depp. I'm sure Johnny Depp increased your love for pirates, though.
Well, I would say that pirates increases my love for Johnny Depp. Actually, that's a
Okay.
conversation for another.
Okay.
That's a conversation for another day. But yeah, my first set was a very small little city ambulance. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Every time you tell your ambulance story, it makes me smile because it shows how much just a little bit of Lego happy can make somebody.
Yeah. I was very, very, very grateful for that. I didn't have any other Lego at the time, and I still feel, I hope I never threw it out. Like I never would have got rid of it. It's potentially still in my mother's loft somewhere, and I would love, love, love to find it one day. I would just cry if I found it, because I still have really fond feelings and memories for it. So
yeah. Someone special's come in that says Becca, big hearts, hearts, hearts. Prophet DNA is saying hello to you.
Hi, Prophet.
Big hearts. Mr. Hall has a witty dad joke for you. Everybody thinks the pirate's favorite letter would be R, but it's actually the C. That was actually really good.
It's good. I love a dad joke. I am all about the dad jokes and the punnies. Oh yeah, that's good.
That's really that's one of my favorite things about Mr. Harral is he has some of the best dad jokes that are out there. It is he can go all day long if we let him. It's so good.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so now that we're coming towards the end of our episode, because we had just talked about going for an hour because I know that you work today. What are your thoughts about doing this live? How are you feeling?
Terrified.
Okay. Understandable.
I mean, it's like now I've tried so hard to ignore the actual camera. Like I said to Puck, Puck will tell you, when I first came onto here, I was a mess. I was all over the place. I was hard to breathe. I had to move the camera, which was originally at the top of my laptop, and I had to put it up away out of my eye line because I just couldn't. I couldn't have it. It's like it's staring straight at me.
You're like, this isn't gonna work.
No,
this is not gonna go well.
I'm not gonna lie to you. It's been a challenge. I've been incredibly uncomfortable. But it's one of those things where I think we all want to grow and challenge ourselves and push ourselves. And I made a commitment to you, you were so surprised when I actually said yes to this project.
I
to
was
even my
so
voice,
I was so
right?
surprised. Super
Right?
surprised.
He asked me, expecting me to say no. I mean,
Yeah,
mournful
no, I
you
did.
if he thought I'd say no, and he just kind of asked me to be polite. I don't know, but and I was like, go on then, because it's voice only. Like, how bad could it be? And this wonderful human being, guys, Puck is. I can't tell you. I'm absolutely totally in love with him. He knows this. I don't need to hide it. He's just such a wonderful human being, has helped me alongside everybody in the community to keep growing, stepping out of my comfort zone, pushing myself. And Brickworld was a huge part of that. And I said to Puck, look, if I can do Brickworld, I know he has worked so hard on this little project hobby of ours, guys. He does all the hard work. He does all the editing, everything.
I don't know. She runs the calendar and all the typing and everything. So I don't know if I do all the hard work, y'all. I don't know
like
about
the
that.
admin side. I see the other side as like the hard work, setting this up, and all of the editing, and for me that's much more difficult. The organization side of things is easier for me.
I am always busy, Mr. Hurl.
But if it wasn't for some of you wonderful human beings, and especially for you, Puck, you inspire me, you push me, and if it was just, I said to you,
it was baby pushes, it was nudges. It was nudges.
I don't want to do this. I'm not doing this for me. This is not for me. I don't want to do it. I'm doing this for you, because when I make a promise or I make a commitment to somebody, if I can do it, then I will. It's been a challenge, but I am hoping that tomorrow, when we are with Squiddos, that it will be a little less uncomfortable. And
I think as we go forward, it will be.
Yeah.
Just
and maybe
I'll
be able to like re-chat and stuff another day. Not today.
Hey, baby steps, like
baby
always.
steps.
Baby steps. Mr. Hurl says Becca has a reserve spot on the nice list. Oh, thank you, Mr. Hurl.
Yay! Oh my gosh, Santa, thank you. He knows I'm a massive Christmas fairy, guys. I am all about being an elf.
If you guys haven't checked out our episode, our Christmas episode, it is such a fun episode. Our Twitch Santa, Mr. Hurl. We love him so much. We're hoping to have him on every Christmas. That is just something that I think would be so much fun.
Not have Santa on at Christmas. I mean,
right.
It just is incredibly difficult.
Exactly.
But also, just a big shout out to Mr. Hurl. He's the most incredibly interesting, wonderful human being, and he has an incredible collection of Lego, guys. So go check him out. And everyone that is in whichever format of chats that you're in, I'm not looking because I can't, you're all wonderful people, so go and check each other out, because there just isn't anybody part of this community that isn't just fantastic.
Yeah the I just loved everything that people bring to this community, and just it's been a magical experience going with everybody, and we really do appreciate all y'all support, the support that y'all bring on a weekly basis, and listening to our podcast is something that really helps support us. It really helps support us to grow and to keep going, and we just want to thank everybody. So
Absolutely.
Just to let you guys know, going forward, we podcast as often as we have people that want to come and chat with us. It's typically once or twice a month, depending on our scheduling and everything. So far this month, we're in July, so we're gonna have 2 episodes this month, today and then tomorrow, which is Saturday, July 13th at noon Central Standard Time. is going to be live with Squidos. So Squidos will be here tomorrow with us. Similar format where you guys just sit back and relax until the end. And then at the end, we'll take questions for Squidos and everything like that, where y'all can ask him questions. You guys can ask us questions.
Isn't it 12? Is it 12 PST and 2 Central?
I'm going to double check. I think it's...
Or was that...
No, I think it was...
day?
It's...
Just so I know. I'm thinking more for me. I need to know what time to be here.
It's noon Central Standard Time, so it's 6 p.m. BST.
6 BST, guys.
Yep. And 1
It's
and
been
1
a very
p.m.
long week.
and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then that would mean it was 12, 11, 10. It would be 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for our wonderful West Coast people. So thank you guys so much for coming out. We really appreciated everybody coming out and seeing us today. Mr. All says 10 a.m. Pacific. Wow, I'm just rolling out of bed. Pinwheel says unlikely for me to join on Saturday, but I'll typically listen to your podcast while I'm building or driving. Pinwheel, all of our episodes are still going to be posted on Spotify. If you want to watch the video, all the VODs are going to be on Twitch and on YouTube as well. I'll throw some clips on the Brick City Radio page on Instagram as well. More. Hello. This is a shout out. For more.
Shout out.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much. More. If you want to catch us tomorrow, we are going to be on again tomorrow, interviewing the lovely Squidos. Big shout out to more. We'll be on again tomorrow at 2 p.m.
We're hoping to have a Crossing the Podcast one day. We were talking about that.
Yes.
So
at noon tomorrow, Central Standard Time, we will see you guys again. That is again 6 p.m. British Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard, and 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So we will see you guys later. And thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out. Bye, guys.
Bye.